Oh, now chat checking in. What's up, runners? You know what it is. It is the morning run. Got a lot to talk about. We got Adam going to be on with us today. Russell takes a seat. A lot of stuff happening in sports around the world. It's the morning run.
Blue Blocker Duke's in the building.
Man, I hopped on here. I thought Cool Mo D was in the building.
I used to live downtown, 139th Street, Harlem.
Man, I found these glasses, man. My sister bought me these glasses in 2008. Shout out to Regina Dukes.
Shout out Regina Dukes.
What's up, man? Regina Dukes is in the chat every once in a while, showing some love.
Yeah, shout out to my dog, man.
Well, runners, mount up. We appreciate y'all joining us. Another episode of the Morning Run, 11 a.m. Mountain Time, all the way to 1 p.m. Eastern Time to 7 a.m. Mountain Time out here in the middle of the ocean. I'm just getting up.
You need some blue blockers on too with the bags under your eyes.
I do need some blue blockers. I was up late, got up late, one of them days, but we here. Call me. You know what? Forget about it. Shout out to everybody in the chat right now, checking in.
What you want to call
you? In the chat. Don't worry about it.
Call you Baby Tyler. Oh, you want to be Big Tyler?
Call me. If you want to call me anything with that, just make sure the bank account is connected to it. You feel me?
Chico,
don't do it, cuz.
The money ain't worth it.
When the cuz say don't go, then you don't go.
Yeah,
that means Chico go even further there.
You gotta tell Chico no. Like you gotta tell cuz, like, cuz, don't do that, cuz. Nah, man. Chico will do it now.
Where do we go from here? We got Adam coming on, checking in with us. We're gonna talk Colorado football, facing off versus BYU at home. Another 8:15 kickoff, late night checking in. We got to talk to Dukes about that, man. Dukes, you got anything on the agenda you want to talk about also?
Man, not really, man. Nah.
My man Chris Evans out of the Dirty Dime, Memphis, Tennessee. He said Chico got a price.
hey, man. You know, I usually be laughing at Chico. Chico, why you just laugh at me just then? Chico started cracking up, man.
No, I was laughing at the comment right there. Okay. Price. I was like, come on, dog.
Yeah, I ain't know. I said, man. But nah, man, I tell you what I do want to talk about, like, for real, like, dog, we in the middle of it. We've been waiting on football season all year round, all year long, and we in the middle of it. This is a huge game coming up for the University of Colorado, man. Like, when you got a game and you know, and asking you this, Chico, there are some times where you know, like, hey, this, you don't want to call it a must win, but every game is a must win. But this one feels a little heavier than others. What's it like going through that pressure, being on that team and knowing, like, you know what, everybody's watching. We need to win this one.
Man, it's like, I guess you would say, you know, when people are expecting something from you, and you know that if you get a big win right here, what it could mean for the rest of your season. You go into, you know, that weight, you know, you feel that weight during the week of practice. So you're going to prepare for that. Your leaders on your team are going to lead you, you know, in the right direction. You guys should be following behind and galvanized from the play of your leader and quarterback. And I think that the team, the preparation around that game leading up to it is going to be on another level. It probably has been on another level so far. And they know what's riding on this and what can come from it if they get a win. And I think this can propel, you know, a lot of momentum going into the rest of the conference play. We already, week 5? You know, been waiting on this forever. And now we're at week 5 already, you know. So, you know, it's time to buckle up and strap in and play some ball now for the Colorado Buffaloes. We're going to talk more about it with Adam, though, once he comes on at the 15-minute mark.
What you think, Unc?
I thought Chico was about to say strap on. That's why my eyes bugged out. I was like,
oh, you must have been watching Drewski Could Have Been Love last night. That's what it was.
I've literally never seen the episode.
Shout out to Drewski. Well,
wish everybody the best in their endeavors, but I've never seen it.
If you watch that episode, there'll be a lot of strap-on talk for you right there.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Whoa. Let's galvanize around the topic at hand.
I feel like Pastor
when I said I
Dewey
thought
Smith,
this was about you, what you were about to say. I didn't mean to tell you to keep saying it. Like, whoa.
Oh man.
Hey, I would tell you this, man. As Chico said, we got Adam coming on. We're gonna get into Colorado football deep and recruiting as well. That's and Philip Deuce to Scoop wheelhouse. But I say this, Dukes, to agree with you, right? The way the Big 12 has all this parity, and it's unlike the SEC in the past when you have like these one or two teams at the top and everybody else fighting for third, fourth. Anybody in this conference is really capable of being in the top two. And what that does for you from a mathematical standpoint, I'm taking football just out the window, just math. Mm-hmm. Every must win. Particularly when you've already lost one. We lost a conference game, against Houston. Most of the conference was still playing their non-conference schedule. Everyone else is just now starting to play conference games. We already have one down and we lost it. And so it just creates that math of where everything is, quote unquote, a must win, because every time you losing one in September, that means you got to win one or two more in October and November because you run out of games. You're running out of clock. And I know that the goal for this team, as stated by the head coach, Coach Prime Deion Sanders, is to get to the Big 12 championship and then win that, meaning you got to be in the top two. We all know, just like last year and the years past, no one is going to that championship game undefeated. Like, that's not going to happen. Somebody's going to have a loss. It's probably going to be a 2-loss team versus a 3-loss team, if anything. So having said that, the mathematical probability of you making it is still in front of you, but you can't squander games anymore. You got to win all the ones that you can win and win one you're not supposed to. Now, speaking of not supposed to, Dukes, other than Wyoming, other than Delaware, we ain't been favored in the game yet. Not favored in this one. So when I say you got to win one you ain't supposed to win, hell, the way Las Vegas treat the Bucks, that's going to be every game.
Man.
Because on your path to a championship, you got to beat everybody you're supposed to beat, and you got to beat somebody you weren't supposed to beat, because that's how you flip the math in your favor. Right. And so this is that start of ain't no more games but conference games. So you don't have one like, oh, well, now the beauty in all this, too, is you get 2 bye weeks. We've yet to have our first bye week, so we got 2 bye weeks coming up. But I love the way this team has retooled. I totally understand what Coach Prime is saying when he says that bowl game was the bowl game. That has nothing to do with right now. But from a fan perspective, when you look at just the nuances of it, it is that extra motivation, because the last time you faced this team, they beat you. And they beat you in some ways that not only were fixable, I think they have been fixed.
That says a lot, because we can speculate, right? But there's not a lot of people who got boots on the ground who actually see it, right? And so coming from you, man, that's got to be encouraging fact or opinion take, an encouraging take based on because we don't get to see it. If I were to ask you what part of the Buffaloes right now looks better than game one, where have they grown the most? Where would you say that the difference is between now and then?
You mean week 1 Georgia Tech, or going back to the Alamo Bowl?
Let's go week 1.
I would say from a confidence perspective. It's my good friend Philip Dukes, who worked in corporate America and manufacturing and knows about top grading. He also knows about proof of concept. And that sometimes you can be in these board meetings and have a great idea, but at some point the idea got to be tested and got to be measured. And you made some changes around the program going into this year. And when you look at what has happened from week 1 to now, that loss to Georgia Tech, I think this team absolutely believes in itself. I think this D line has what Coach Sapp wanted to instill, which was a pack mentality, versus an individual mentality. That if one of us eat, we all eat. Don't chase your stats, chase stats for the group. I think this O-line has proven that they can sustain blocks, get off blocks, get down the field block. Like they are one of the best O-lines in the nation. That concept has been proven. I think that this wide receiver room has proven that even though it's 80% of the offense having left with Travis Hunter, Jimmy Horn Jr., LeJontay Wester, that this wide receiver room is capable of stretching the field and putting up points with yards after catch. And we certainly saw last week what the confidence that the quarterback brings you with his legs and his arm and his thought process. So if I look at week 1 going into Georgia Tech was almost like hey, I think this is going to work. Like, yeah, I think we're better. I think we're a better team than last year. And now when you get to where we are going into game 5, you're like, no, we can. There was nothing that we did against Wyoming that was done just because they were Wyoming. Everything we did in that game, we did because it was us.
I think you hit on one point that I think is really important, and that's what Caden the I guess the improvement of Caden Salter. What a game, right? Last week you saw it, but for somebody who's been around the game and some of the best quarterbacks in the world, what does it mean for a team to have a guy put up that type of performance based on the situation that he was in?
Dog, again, man, that belief factor, that it's no longer hope.
Ooh.
It's no longer hope. I hope this works. It's now I know this is going to work. What you had a year ago and 2 years ago, for that matter, is you knew no matter what the situation, I know Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter can get us out of it. When you're coming into this season with your new quarterback, you don't know that.
Right.
When you look at the accomplishments, across the season and look at just this last game, this team, let's start with the offensive line. This team knows from an offensive line standpoint, if we get his brother a chance, he got us.
Adam, what's going on, big dog?
Hey, guys.
What's going on, bro?
I'm repping Big Dog, and I don't see him on here, so somebody's got to do it, I guess, right?
Yeah, well.
I see you, baby. I appreciate you, Adam.
There he is.
Yeah.
How you guys doing? I'm sorry I missed out on White Guy Wednesdays. They've been doing interviews on Wednesdays, and it seemed like a good day to do it during preseason camp, but now it's not so much. So maybe we got to readjust.
Nah, man, we love it, man. Adam, I was going to ask you the same question. What's the biggest difference that you've seen between Colorado week 1 and now?
Week 1 to now is figuring stuff out. It's been incremental, and I think that Houston game was a shock to the system. We were pretty optimistic the last time I was on with you guys going into that game. And Houston was a better football team than maybe I anticipated going into that. And they're probably going to go 4-0 after this weekend. So that's a better football team than we anticipated. But figuring out the quarterback position, I think things fall in line after that. And that's what's going to happen here the coming weeks. There's still quite a bit to figure out, especially defensively. But what I've said from the very beginning is that you've just got to hang in there. You've got to try to find a way to have one more point on the scoreboard than the other teams. September, October, by November, I think the depth of this team is when that's really going to show. So you just got to find a way to do that. And this Saturday is one of those weeks because I don't want to use the moniker PTSD, but I mean, I can't get that Alamo Bowl out of my head. That's a tough one to get out of your psyche, trying to predict this football game.
I can go for that. I do want to know this from both of you guys too. From last week, seeing what Caden Salter did, what impressed you the most about that performance?
His decision making and sticking with his decision. I think that when you saw him play against Georgia Tech, there were some opportunities he did not take, whether it was to run or to pass. And I think it was him overthinking it. I think it was him, not understanding and grasping that you were brought here to be yourself. and we know that what you were at Liberty, and we want you to do what you did there here. And so don't try to prove to everybody in Folsom Field and the national TV audience that you're a passer. Don't try to prove to anybody that you're a runner. Take what the defense is giving you, make your decisions, and stick with them. There were many opportunities out there where green grass was in front of him, and he was, seeking to make a throw down the field instead of taking the first down with his legs. And then you can reverse that. The same thing happened in the opposite direction. I think what you saw, though, against Wyoming was him making the decision and sticking to the decision. Again, that offensive line gave him plenty of time to do that. And so when the play would break down and he saw that first down with his legs, he would take it. Or if he saw a man downfield with his eyes still up, he would throw it. When Case Salter makes a decision and sticks with it, you can trust that it's going to be a favorable outcome the majority of the time.
Adam?
Yeah, you can't go away from that. That it was the decisiveness, and Neely put it very well. It was I'm going to make a decision, I'm going to settle on that, and I'm going to make a play. And we saw that time after time after time in that football game. And I was a little bit critical of like why he didn't get thrown in the Houston game, but I really now kind of understand, based on everything we've heard from his teammates, coaches, that this was the wake-up call I think he needed. He's a fifth-year senior. You can't be indecisive out there. That's if you throw Juju out there for a series, like you understand that. That's part of the process of growing. But Caden Salter was brought in here to be a killer, and he was a killer last Saturday night.
Yeah, and speaking of that, Adam, the nuances and the details, no doubt, will be shared and told over time as time goes by. But what in the immediate sense, and I think when you open up a window there where you said a fifth-year senior, a fifth-year senior has his way of doing things. And let me tell you about your way of doing things in the Coach Prime organization. Your way of doing things ain't going to be the way to do things. The way to do things is his way to do things. You can like it, you can love it, you can hate it, you can ride with it, you can complain while you do it. All that stuff is human nature. But you're going to do it his way in a Coach Prime organization. And I think being that fifth-year senior, you come in with your mindset of how things are, how things could be, how things are where all the places you've been and how you've accomplished them. And then you have to learn, well, how do I take that skill set and apply it to the way this head coach runs his organization? And I think that was the wake-up call. And I think they're now both on the same page. And you see what happens, when they're on the same page from that leadership standpoint, being that example guy, believing in yourself, trusting yourself in your decision making. I understand what you're saying, Adam, and I'm with you in that sense. But I know this about the Houston game. At the kickoff of that game, Coach Prime went with the quarterback that was best situated to get us through that game. Now, that doesn't mean arm or legs or whatever. That means just the totality of it. And that changed by the time the next game came. And I think now what you have is it's solidified who the guy is going to be because the guy has embraced the Coach Prime way of doing things.
When we talk about football and we see it from a social media perspective, a lot of times, of course, the blame goes to the play calling. What did you? And it's easy to go to the play calling, but let's start here. What did you guys like about the play calling last game?
Just the flow of it, man. It was. But I think a lot of that goes back to the execution of things, that Caden Salter was getting comfortable and it was putting Wyoming's defense on its heels a little bit. And then it kind of just rolls downhill from there. You see that both sides of it, when a team gets rolling against Colorado defensively, they're scrambling. And to be able to do that to another team was a good sight to be seen for Colorado fans. Less horizontal stuff. But when they did it, it was successful on Saturday night. It seems like when it's more situational versus kind of the basis for your offense, that is where this offense is at its best. But it was one of the more aesthetically pleasing games, I think, for Colorado fans to watch here in recent memory. And I was telling somebody yesterday, it's kind of hard to just put it on stats or anything like that. It's just kind of, sometimes it's an eyeball test. When you leave that stadium on Saturday, it was like, that was a well-called offense tonight. And it's not going to be perfect. You're not going to get a touchdown every play, but they set things up very well. And then you had Caden Salter like the breakdown with Sincere Brown, getting him into the end zone. Like as Coach Prime says, you need 3 plays out of your quarterback in a game. And that was one of those that he had. So you get those 3 plays, you have a well-called game by the offense coordinator. And it was one of those games where you have no criticisms. I don't feel like.
I love that, Adam. I think that if I had a word for it, it'd be rhythm. You know, it's hard to dance laying down unless you're doing another kind of dancing, but it's hard to dance laying down. And what Salter did with that offensive line, he was upright. And because I'm upright and not running for my life, now I have a rhythm. Now I have a flow. Now I'm seeing the field. I'm making my progressions. I'm not just forced to go to the first thing I see, whether that is running or checking it down. So again, shout out to that offensive line for that time. And I think all of that aids the offensive coordinator. You know, that now he's in a rhythm because I'm either staying with or ahead of the chains. And the thing about it is we still have some things to clean up on that first down effort and even that second down effort. But it went much better against Wyoming than it did against Houston. No, you had two different quarterbacks, but as a team, you know, it went much better. And I think that put the coordinator in the flow. That put the offensive line in the flow. That puts the quarterback and receivers in the flow. No one's out there panicking. You talked about that Sincere play that broke down. It was so smooth, it looked like a design play. You know, you had to really look at the nuances and know, like, oh, no, that wasn't called. That was Rescue Rangers. He followed Caden Salter to that side of the field. You to run with the quarterback, whichever way he's running, so he can see you and doesn't have to throw across his body. But all of that took place because of the rhythm of the calls. And the calls had rhythm because the calls were successful. You know, Coach Prime said at the post-game presser, this wasn't a Wyoming playbook. These were the plays against Georgia Tech, Delaware, whoever. They were just executed. And success breeds success, Adam. Like when it's working, it's going to keep working. When it's failing, it's going to keep failing. Somehow you got to get yourself out the hole. And the best way to get out the hole, like my old man told me, is put the shovel down, stop digging. You can't dig your way out of a hole. And I think we learned that from this Wyoming game. Do what is working instead of trying to force some things that ain't working.
Yeah, when we talk about rhythm, and I kind of glean that from both of you guys' responses, how do you get rhythm defensively? What do you want to see rhythm like rhythm wise from Colorado defensively? Because usually the offense sets the pace, but we all know that there's some things, you know, some things that you would want to see from Colorado's defense. How can they get it to be to the point where a lot of people feel like the offense is now? What needs to happen in this game?
Yeah, I think they are still kind of figuring out personnel on that side of the ball, and injuries seem to have mounted. I know running backs got hit this week, but kind of defensively has been hit a little bit by that the last couple of weeks. I think they still are looking for the Cameron Simlin Craig type leadership on that side of the ball, the guy that is going to be the coach on the field. And they've got some candidates there. I know Arden Walker is a guy that's done such a great job leading, but he's an edge guy. It's kind of tough to lead from that standpoint on the field on game day. They need a linebacker, a defensive back to really step up and kind of take charge of that group. And where, you know, we've kind of seen with some of the stuff offensively of just not accepting anything less than what their standard is. I think they're still searching for that defensively.
Oh yeah, we have been saying a word a lot the past 4 weeks, and I love the way Adam avoided it, and I want to avoid it. But damn, I got to say identity, and I hate the word identity in the football team because success is what gives you your identity. And the fact of the matter is, man, we have given up just too many big plays at the wrong time. We have failed to get guys down on the ground at the initial contact. So there's some fundamental things such as tackling that has to be done. But I'm with you, Adam. That leadership has to come from that secondary part. A guy that's back there seeing it all. I love a healthy Taufik and what he's doing back there now, in helping Stoudemire. But I would love to see what we have seen glimpses of from French and Tay out of Memphis is just that consistency of playing at the same level each game. And being vocal out there, not just vocal on the field, and calling out what you're hearing through the green dot in your helmet, but also leadership on the sideline. I think one of the things that we saw with Cameron Silver and Craig was not just out there on the field. When they went to the bench, he was coaching. When we go to the locker room, he was coaching and motivating. So I think that leadership quality, has to develop with somebody stepping up to that place. But the biggest thing for me is for this particular game, knowing what happened the last time where the word on the street was you just got out-wheeled, out-physical, we got to hit him in the mouth, hit him hard in the mouth, hit him early in the mouth, and set the tone that we're not pushovers. Everyone who comes here expecting to be able to run the ball. We have to take that expectation away from them early.
Do you guys feel like run defense is a mentality, or is it more so of an execution type thing? A lot of people feel like, when stopping the run is an effort thing, but I see good effort from the defense. How do you feel like some of those holes get plugged?
Yeah,
it's both. It's both, right?
Yeah.
No, I just was going to say it's both. It can't be weighted heavily on either of those things, and I think at times we've seen both of those things, maybe not at 100%, and if it's at 75%, it's kind of like the O-line. Run defense is kind of like the O-line, where like you got to have everybody doing their job, and if one guy's off, there's a potential for disaster, and that's kind of what it's been. But I really do think that we saw a little bit more of that tribe mentality that Robert Livingston tried to instill in this defense last year, kind of show itself in that first half against Wyoming. I know Wyoming's offense is not is the furthest thing from a juggernaut, I guess is how I'll put it. But you saw a little bit of that mentality, I think, showing itself last week. And going back to what Neely was saying with Tawfiq Byard, I think he's starting to set a little bit of a tone too, coming up from the safety spot, and those guys up front are kind of feeding off that a little bit.
Yeah, it's almost like we're just pulling out the football 101 manual and doing this coach talk, but it's just legit. Like there's some things we just got to flat out do better, and no excuses for them. When you talk about the will of wanting to stop the run and the execution and being there, we can't leave out another word. Chico played linebacker and tight end, and that's technique. You got to wrap up, man. A lot of times we think, okay, well, he's at the sideline. I'm just going to go over there and shoulder him. Next thing you know, he's tiptoeing down the sideline, picking up another 10. Hit the guy, yes, but wrap up and bring him down. That's just the fundamentals of football, and you got to remember those. And Coach Prime has been doubling down on it in practice, like, hey, stop reaching, get there with your chest, then wrap around the guy, then pull the guy down. Like, it's fundamentals to this thing. And I think in the heat of the battle, we lose track of the fundamentals. Another thing, Adam, that you touched on, opened the door there for me, is to point out with Rob Livingston. He wants these guys to celebrate their success, but more importantly, he wants them to celebrate together. He's quick to pull up on film and show a guy that making a play, and the guy's celebrating by himself. And he's like, no, man, go to him. We got time. Like, we got time to line up. Celebrate together. Support your teammate. When they make a play, you make a play. Everybody rallies to the ball. Everybody, celebrate each other in their process. And because he's trying to build that, it's 11 playing is one thing. We got 11 parts, but we're moving out here as one and communicating, being successful. But this is the game, Adam, as we go into just nothing but conference play, that we really are going to be whatever we are. If we can hit, wrap up, bring down tackles, stop the run, and that's what we are. If we fail to do it like we've done in the past, that's what we are. Because sooner or later, you are what you keep doing. We keep making excuses and say we got to clean this up and clean it up. But at some point, this is what it is.
And we're going to find out Saturday night. This BYU team is going to be that litmus test, I think, for this program going forward.
Most definitely. BYU has a starting left tackle that played at Colorado, big Isaiah Jota. Remember him? He's going to be playing. So, guys should know him and not be in a situation where they are afraid. They should know him, feel like I faced him in practice before. That's how I feel when you play against somebody that's a former teammate. You're like, I know him, dog. I'm not going to let him get off on me today. I'm going to find a way to win. So I think that'll be an interesting matchup to watch a guy like Jota versus London Merritt and Arden Walker. And
Quincy Wiggins and
them.
Twin. Like, I hear you, Chico, and I totally understand what you're saying. And the other guy gets to say that too. He's playing his former teammates. But in this particular situation, I like my edge rushers compared to their tackles. So we just got to, again, stop the run, earn the right to rush the quarterback and get to the quarterback. And then we got to play again, Adam, that sound technique, because much like Georgia Tech, this guy wants you to come after him so he can run. And so you got to say gap sound and be patient and not flush him so much, because you could be flushing him to just green grass.
This Bachmeier wears 47. You don't see many quarterbacks doing that. So he's got a different mentality coming in just with that jersey that he's wearing. He's
like
going to put his
back too.
Yeah, they actually offered him a scholarship before Juju committed, obviously, but they were recruiting Bear Bachmeier a little bit, and actually his older brother that played at Boise and or was it Wake Forest, somewhere else that was pretty successful, Hank Bachmeier, Colorado, way back in the day, recruited as well. So the Bachmeiers have decided to go elsewhere, and now Colorado's got to find a way to shut him down. But it's going to be a difficult test. I don't think he's quite as dynamic at this point as Haynes King, because he's just a little bit more experienced and savvy. I still think this is somebody that has not gotten tested. Bachmeier, I'm speaking of, that they played 3 teams, with East Carolina maybe being the most difficult. And so this is going to be a new test going into Folsom Field in front of a sold-out crowd. See, I think if you're Robert Livingston, you try to do anything you can possibly do to rattle a freshman quarterback, because I think that's possible this Saturday.
Let me tell you this, Adam, Chico, Dukes to Scoop, chat. There's a mantra in the building, right? And it has nothing to do with this season. It's last year, it's the year before. It's Coach Prime since Florida State when it comes to doing something as a team or as an organization. And he will tell everybody around him to live with this in mind. Don't let it be me.
Right.
Translation, don't you be the reason that something doesn't work. So go into any situation like, what can I do that if this goes awry, ain't nobody going to say, oh, Adam did it. Oh, Neely let us down. And you better believe after these 3, 4, whatever games, Robert Livingston, whether we've won or lost, he's probably growing tired of it being the defense. And I think this is the game where you go like, it won't be us, not this time. Like, it's going to be special teams on the film board. It's going to be offense on the field. It's going to be the popcorn, man. It ain't going to be the defense. Like, we're going to shut this shit down. We're going to do it right, from start to finish, and we're going to put ourselves in a position to help the offense versus hinder the offense. And I think they have taken their personal, whether, again, we beat Wyoming, but look what happened during the game. We gave us some cheap stuff, some deep stuff that kept them in the game, and that's not something you can do in conference play.
Y'all spoke earlier about possible lead on that defense, and this guy here is wearing Cameron Simmons-Craig's number on that defense, pretty much in that same position. Taufik Bayard, 20 total tackles, and he's leading the Big 12 safeties in solo tackles this season so far with 17. I think he has come on and really lit a spark on that defensive side of the football, making tackles in the backfield, tackles for loss from the safety spot. Talk about Taufik, and could he actually be that leader on the defense side of football that we need?
He has been this week. He has been since Wyoming. Man, it's amazing how the universe works. And that injury is probably one of the best things that happened for him because it gave him time to see the game from a different perspective. We talked about, Case Salt and him being a fifth-year senior, had to learn how to do it the prime way. I think while Taufik was out, he got to see the way it's done the prime way. And when he was going to the scout team and recovering and moved back up to the starting position, he gets it. And he gets it so much, he does it. And he does it so much, other people gravitate toward his execution and leadership. He certainly is a rising star on this team and becoming that guy. But here's the key factor in it, Chico. Coach Prime talks all the time about consistency. We saw it against Wyoming. We got to see it against BYU. We got to see it against Iowa State. We got to see it. It has to be – because, again, when you talk about Cameron Simmons-Craig and that number 7, you saw it happen time and time again. It was not a game off, or we did it this time and didn't do it this time. It was consistent. And Taufik just needs time on the field to prove he's consistent. I think it's there. I believe it's there. He just needs more game reps for everybody else to go like, nope, that's our guy.
Man, and we can all speak to this about consistency. But you know how good it is to know where somebody's going to be? And I think that's one of the biggest things when you have a safety that play what they call on the roof, or who plays up top and can play in the box, but he's going to be where he's supposed to be. And I think that's one of the biggest things that I think Bayard that I've seen. I'm like, I'm not in the game, the install meetings, but he looks to be in position, and he looks to be able to make plays when he gets in position. And so just having a guy like that and on the back end can do wonders for a defense.
And just since the beginning of that Houston game, the 1-2 factor from him has been off the charts. It's one of those things that's sometimes hard to put a finger on, but when you see it, you know it. And he's a guy that is putting everything out there on the line. And like Neely said, it seemed like kind of like Caden Salter maybe just kind of needed that a little bit of a wake up call to just really pull it together. And when he committed to Colorado, I reached out to some guys that cover USF, and he was a real valuable part of that program last year for their football team that went to a bowl game, and they really missed him in the bowl game. So he's certainly come in and kind of found his niche here.
Yeah.
Do you feel like there may be anything lingering from that bowl game? Like, do you feel like this team is such a new team that it really doesn't matter?
Well, I think it matters. It's certainly lingering with the players who played in it, right? Mm-hmm. And with about 50% of this team being new, I think it matters to them to prove that we're better than last year's team. That's something you heard all spring, all summer, that this team had more talent and depth across the board. Then you go out and lose against Georgia Tech, and people are like, I thought you said. Well, this is this game where now you have a like opponent, and you get to show like, hey, I told you we got depth. I told you we got talent. I told you we can rotate people in and out. So I think there is a slight chip on the shoulder, if you will. And I also think that, they're tired of being looked over by Vegas. Here's another game where you're not favored to win. It's on your home field at night in front of your crowd. Adam will be there. Ralphie Seven will be there. And you're still not favored. I think, that puts a little more emphasis to these guys that they want to go out and show and prove that they're right and the world is wrong.
It's still lingering with me. That was an awful football game to cover. What a great week down in San Antonio, though. They do a great job on the River Walk, and that's one of the best events that I've ever covered. And I've been down there 3 times now there to cover bowl games, and Colorado has not won one. So it's like this great week that leads up to this miserable result. But BYU's defensive line that really handled Colorado in that football game. Most of those guys have gone elsewhere or exhausted their eligibility. So it's a little bit less intimidating up front defensively. BYU is still got a very solid defense, and they're going to be a very tough challenge, but this is definitely not the same football team that Colorado faced.
Yeah, it's not Adam, but from a culture, from a characteristic standpoint, eyeball test, BYU in this conference are going to consistently have the older guys in the conference, and they're gonna outage you by just about 2 years at every position. Because of their mission commitments before they start playing, that kind of thing. So, across the board, you're going to have a 22-year-old playing against a 21 or a 19-year-old, on average. And so even though you're right, a lot of the individual names have changed. That characteristic of you playing grown man ball when you play somebody in the state of Utah is still going to be there. And I think these guys, from Coach Prime up top through the recruiting department with Pretty Tony and Corey Phillips, have addressed the deficiencies on the D line that we had then, as well as the offensive line. And I also think that that fatigue factor, that deep well that you can dig into that wasn't there. You brought in Coach Swayze with his championship program history, to know how to get guys to have the same kind of energy and intensity late in the fourth quarter that you got early in the second quarter. So, the steps have been taken, to right the wrongs of that bowl game. Now you just got to see, all right, the rubber's about to meet the road. Let's execute it. Did we really fix it?
Yeah. What are some challenges you guys see for this defense versus the BYU offense?
For lack of better words, I call it patience. Sometimes you got to be prepared to be bored. And what helps you in that situation, I'm talking about eye discipline. You got to stop moving ahead of your eyes, because what happened even in the opening series of Wyoming, in particular in the opening series of Houston, we filled the gaps. We just filled the wrong one. And if you hold back about 0.5 seconds and really let the play start to develop and do your assignment, and then the alignment and technique comes to place. But first, your assignment. What am I supposed to be doing this play? Where am I supposed to be? And for the most part, when you break down that film and saw the deficiencies on our defense and the efficiencies on their offense, someone went to the wrong gap. Like we didn't do what we were supposed to do. And it was much like the offense. We could criticize Pat Sherman those early games he was calling, but had you caught the ball or run for the first down, no one would be criticizing it. So I think what we have to do with this game is be where you're supposed to be. And that takes a lot of discipline and patience to do that, because sometimes you feel like the action is not coming your way and I need to go make a play. And then that's when you guess wrong and the guy's 15 yards up the field. We cannot continue to hold somebody, to third down, and let alone third and long, and then they run one on us for 20 yards when we've been stopping them before that.
Agreed. No, I like that. I was going to ask you guys, who's somebody that surprised you so far? You got 4 games worth of data. Is there anybody who you say, you know what, I didn't know this was going to happen the way it did, and you're glad to see it? And is there anybody that you would want to see maybe take a step this week?
I'll say surprise would probably be the 2 freshmen on the ends, and the way they've been playing and actually been playing together, tag teaming off that end, and the maturity of those guys, their body look, college ready right now. I think it'll be those 2 guys. And as far as stepping up, that would be the cornerbacks, and a guy like Tion Parks coming in to play this week on the opposite side of DJ McKinney. Both of those guys, I want to see them play, whether it's man or zone. I want to see them step up, and hopefully we get a turnover this week. That'll be huge.
Yeah, I want to slightly shift from the word surprise, but it's like we said earlier, Dukes, proof of concept. And so it didn't surprise me because I saw the work. But most of the experts will tell you it takes 3 or 4 games for an offensive line to gel. And the gelling of this offensive line, really game 1 has been my pleasant surprise, or my pleasant, oh, man, it did work. Because I often go back to the spring when everyone ridiculed Coach Prime, saying there is no way in the world 3 offensive line coaches in one room can work. This is, what is he doing? This is unheard of. And the guys that were recruited in, the guys who have gotten better and done the work over the summer, when you look at this 5 to 7 rotation they've been doing out there, and you look at the time that Salt has to throw the ball back there, I mean, he's back there baking cakes. He had time for me to shave my beard and for Adam to grow hair. He's chilling. And that's all a testament to the work that the offensive line has put in. Because I'm telling you, dog, if this offensive line played in Alamo Bowl, not only we win it, we're not even in the Alamo Bowl because we've been in the Big 12 championship.
The guy that really surprised me early on was Simeon Price, because he came in and really hadn't produced much at the college level until he got here. And so kudos to Marshall Falk and Corey Phillips and Coach Box and Coach Ray for that evaluation there. They saw something there. Unfortunately, he's going to be out this week. So another name I'll throw in there is Sincere Brown, because he told us in preseason camp that he runs a 4.3, and I'm looking at this 6'5" guy going, there's no way in heck. You run a 4.5, man. There's no way. And then he goes out there last week and gets clocked in at 22.3 miles per hour. And it's like, okay, all right. I was wrong there with those internal thoughts there. And so kudos to him.
That wasn't in the first quarter.
Exactly.
He 20 plus miles per hour late in the game,
I'm talking about accelerated out of there too.
The guy
that open spot scramble with the quarterback. That was a beautiful play by Sincere Brown.
Yeah. This week, this has got to be Draylon Miller's week. He's got to come out and step up and show out because he's too talented to not have the production that he hasn't had so far this season.
Yeah, he certainly had some that have hit his hands, and so I'm with you, Adam. That would be my, star on the rise, the guy I'm looking for to step up and make up for some of those drops. But he's certainly a weapon. When you talk about who's in, who's out, who may not be playing, when you got a guy with his athleticism, you can move him anywhere on the field with that size, that speed, and that body. But the hand confidence has certainly got to come back. And I know that his wide receiver coach, Jason Phillips, has done everything possible this week to make that happen.
Yeah. Adam,
Miller too.
So Adam, now this is the time where high school film is getting reevaluated. You see a lot of offers going out. Is there anybody that Colorado fans should be looking out for to say, hey, you know what, Colorado may have a great chance with this recruit?
Yeah, I mean, we've gone the last couple of days with a couple of new commitments. Those guys, Emmanuel Ruffin, a defensive tackle from Alabama, a 4-star guy, as well as the receiver they got out of Florida, Christian Ward. Those guys were uncommitted, but now you're kind of switching over a little bit to flip season. You're going to see Colorado continue to go after guys that are committed to other programs that have got that great senior film like you talked about. And obviously Sedarian Morgan's not one of those. He was already a 5-star guy before that, but they Braden Allen, a receiver that's out of Louisiana, he's currently committed to Tulane, is going to be visiting this weekend. Lakeith Thompson from Florida is committed to Louisville. He's a running back, is going to be coming out this week. Brian Hamilton, currently committed to Pittsburgh, a receiver, is coming out this weekend. Caleb Morris, a defensive lineman, currently committed to Mississippi State, is coming out this weekend. So this is where you see them go in on guys, and this staff is not always trying to be the first offer. They're kind of feeling their way out a lot with these recruits, and some of that comes down to NIL and kind of feeling that part of it out. But also, a lot of these recruits that have success are proactively kind of recruiting Colorado, and so that's fun too to see the guys really want to play for the Buffs. And you're going to see, I would guess, probably a half dozen guys flip from other colleges to Colorado before we get to that December signing period.
Wow.
Adam, I think I'll be interested to get you and Duke's thoughts on this, and even Chico as a former player. One of the things I think helps in this recruitment, flipping all of it in one pot, and I'm going to put to the side, the gold jackets in the building, starting with the head coach. I mean, just from an eyeball test of what you see, I think one of the things that you see is that I don't care if you're coming in as a true freshman or you're coming in as a transfer, you play here when you do what it takes to move up to play. And I think that whether it is old school recruiting a guy coming out of high school or the new transfer portal way of doing things, what everybody is seeking, other than the bag, what everybody is seeking is opportunity. And one thing that Coach Prime has proven, whether you're a freshman just coming out of high school or a guy that didn't work out somewhere else, like you talked about Price at running back, other place he's been, or D-line guys that's come here, you come here, you're going to get opportunity. And not only an opportunity to play, opportunity to be seen, because all our games on TV. And so I think that has to be something that just helps when you're having conversation with these guys about coming to play at Colorado.
Yeah, because, it doesn't matter what program you have and how deep your budget is. We saw what Texas Tech did, and that's worked out well for them from a transfer NIL budget. But, you can only put 11 guys on the field at a time. So there's currency involved with just the opportunity. And so you laid that out well. It's an opportunity to come somewhere and earn true NIL dollars. We've seen it with the Taco Bell over here, them just really stepping up in different areas to help these guys out. But you also can kind of weed out guys that you don't want in your program by having this new era okay, if that's all he's about, and we know that Coach Prime, that's kind of his philosophy, right? Is bringing these high school guys in and seeing what they care about. And a lot of them are just not going to be part of the culture that he's trying to build at Colorado. And so you can kind of weed guys out now. If you could have $100 million NIL budget, you'd love to have it if you're a Colorado fan. I'm not trying to say that's not important, but there are some ways you can kind of circumvent that. And we've seen parity more in college football now, even in this NIL era. And again, it goes back to that initial point of you only can put 11 guys on the field at a time.
Adam, I was smiling because I had a crazy thought, and I was like, man, I don't know if I shouldn't say it. This is too crazy. This is Chico kind of crazy, but you mentioned it, so I got to say it. There is, when you sit back and watch, right? And when you ain't got it and other people do, you sit there and go like, damn, I hope that experiment doesn't work. And what I'm talking about is that Texas Tech money.
Yeah.
And because here's the truth. When you look at the Big 12 and where these schools are located and who these schools are, the kind of majors and degrees they produce, et cetera, they got an upper hand on their cash down there in Texas with their oil and energy money that other places ain't got. And ain't finna get no time soon. That's just the reality of capitalism and the dollar. And so when you saw what Texas Tech was preparing to do last year and implementing for this year, you were sitting back going like, man, I really need this not to work. Because it's Jay-Z didn't get Beyonce off his looks, brothers. That's what I'm saying. And so you need, but guess what, y'all? It's working.
Yeah,
it's working.
Unfortunately,
yeah.
I hope you don't get it.
Those Texas Tech fans hate me too. I got hit with a Zyn can on the back of the head. Neely, you were down on the field way longer than I was in that game, man. Like when they came out with that ruling that they were going to ban them from doing that throughout the game, I was so happy, and I put out a message on social media, and I had to block like 250 Texas Tech fans, man. They were coming after me.
They real deal, man. I'm gonna tell you this. They are some damn experts in their marksmanship. Like, I don't know how you could accurately throw a tortilla, but they could do it.
They figured it out.
Yeah. They some engineers or something down there. They know how to ball it up with stuff and get the right kind of angle. That's their thing, right? And somehow it is allowed. I don't understand. But it got so bad, even their head coach had to say, all right, y'all, come on now.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Shout out to him, though.
Adam,
hey, I wish I had some of that money.
Adam, how do you see this game going?
So I got to do a prediction later today, and it's one of those where I got to kind of try to separate what happened at the Alamo Bowl from my mind. And there was part of me that just a couple years ago, I had my dog actually predict a football game. I printed out logos for each team, the Buffs and the Sun Devils, because I had no idea who was going to win that game. And we got a doggy door, so I had my wife kind of hold Punchy, our boxer, back, and I put kibbles down on each one. And she predicted wrong. If she had predicted right, I'd go with her again. This time I can't do it again. I don't know. I'm probably going to flip a coin. I don't know. It's a tough matchup for Colorado, kind of like Georgia Tech was.
Adam, I know we do our predictions on Friday, but I'm gonna tell you why I'm picking Colorado, but I'm gonna say the score for tomorrow. I think we have overlooked. Okay, we talked about how we got out physical and all that, blah 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 blah. We talked about how we have addressed those things with D-line upgrade, offensive line playing wonderfully. Et cetera, et cetera. But I talked about this the other day with Chico. We cannot forget in that game against BYU how much their special teams put them in the position to kick our ass. They had a 64-yard punt return for a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
We had 0 yards for returns. Like, that's not going to happen this year. Their kicker, he had 2 field goals from plus 50, 54 and 51, I think. We got a kicker now in Buck that can do that. And so when I started adding up how we lost the game as far as possession, I think they ended up having the ball like 11 minutes more than us or something. When I look at time of possession, giving up that punt return for a touchdown, don't forget that onside kick that nobody expected them to do, and then they got it and scored on that drive. I think that systematically there's some things we've done, upgrading this defensive line, upgrading this offensive line, our solid quarterback play as well, so no drop off there. Our rise in special teams plays. Coach Pollock has done a wonderful job. We not only got legs, we got gunners that's getting down there. I mean, just think now, how many times last year Old Mate kicked the ball to the 3, but nobody ran down there fast enough to down it at the 3. Mm. And Caleb Mathis is getting down there every damn time and stopping that ball. I just think that flips it toward us, Adam, and I ain't even gotten to Ralphie and being at home at night.
Yeah.
How the heck is Damon Greaves like figured out that technique of where it hits like at the 1 and bounces back? It seems like it defies.
I don't know. That guy's damn good.
Well, you know what he said? They in Australia grow up punting the ball, kicking the ball. We grow up throwing it, as we throwing it, they're kicking it, So I think it's just natural for them to do it the way they do it and to drop kick it like that.
Yeah, I think that in all 3 phases of the game we have improved and could play a better brand of complementary football than we did last year at the Alamo Bowl, and we're at home. So I like our odds, Adam. I like our odds.
How many rushing yards did we finish with? Colorado finished with last at the Alamo Bowl versus BYU.
Let me pull it up, Chico. I bet it
2 total. I got it right here for you.
Yeah, 2 total rushing yards. I remember it not being over 10. Now let me also point out.
Gracious, of course.
And I'm not trying to excuse it. So when Coach Bryant hear me say other than that, don't slap me, Coach. You have to keep in mind that sacks deduct from rushing yards.
Right.
And that's why I'm still saying, man, this offensive line that we have now, what is Salter get sacked one time the other game?
For 14 yards. He would have had 100 yards rushing if it wasn't for that.
Yeah.
So I think we put it all together.
Yeah. Stopping the run versus that big running back. It's LJ Martin is his name. Yeah, he's a nice running back. You have to stop him from getting going. Also got to, like Uncle Neely said earlier, that eye discipline, especially with the tight ends and the misdirections that they like to do back there. That's going to be key. Don't let them get those big plays, wheel routes, throwbacks to the tight end type deals. Play sound discipline football on defense. I think we'll be fine there. 35 minutes in the Alamo Bowl as far as time of possession for BYU versus 24 for Colorado. So that was key also last game.
I said about 11 minutes.
Yep. And
some things hurt so bad, Chico, you remember them.
Final.
Yeah, I remember that shit. I was like, that hurts. So Chico, it's hard to win the game without the ball, man.
Right.
Like
that's putting up points early, I think is going to be key, man. Once again with this team right here. Put up points early. If Caden Salter can get the offense to score early, especially if we can go up by like 10 scores, 2 scores, whether it's 10-0 or 14-0, that's going to be key for this ball club also. We can play fast on defense at that point. Well.
So, Adam, are we going to, with you live on the air in front of the 534 watching live and the thousands upon thousands who'll be watching later, are we going to officially switch Adam to Thursdays?
We got to come up with a new slogan for this, though.
Tan Thursdays. You look a little olive over there, so
okay. Yeah, I got a little Greek blood in me, so we can roll with that.
Shout out to Petros also with Goonsville. GV. Speaking of Greek, my buddy.
Let's do it. Right. Yeah, I really enjoy coming on with you guys. Thanks for having me.
And we appreciate
you. It's always fun,
coming, man. Next time we're gonna probably blur out your shirt if you wear that again.
Don't need no hateration or no holleration.
Deuce got on champion. I'm watching Public Enemy. Chico got on Gooseville, and here you come with a big dog shirt. Like, man, what is
the coldest one out here? That's why he got more swag than you and I put together. I can't put Dukes in that
shirt so cold. The man whose name on it don't even wear it.
Neely, you got some airtime though late in that game on Saturday on the TV with some Uncle Chico advertisement. That's free advertising right there.
I got a model to wear my clothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I try to put my arm where you don't see the Chico though. I just got to walk around like that.
Crazy. Hey, Adam, thank you for joining us once again. Shout out to your main man, your partner, William Gardner, also. You will salute to him.
He'll appreciate that. Yeah.
For sure.
All right, guys. Appreciate you. We'll see you.
All right, Adam. Thank you.
Keisha said Adam looking a little light skinned.
All right, Keisha. When we come on here flirting with Adam, Keisha.
I know. As bad as you do, Keisha, love, I know you ain't trying to tell her to stop. No, you holler at anything to come around.
That's a lie. I'm just shouting out Miss Liz. That's all. Adam got Miss Liz. That's what I'm shouting out. And her great photography also. Shout out to her. Exceptional. If you guys want to make a bet on the game or, want to bet that CU going to cover that spread, do you have something they can do? We got a little something that.
Yeah, man. They need to make that account at MyBookie. If you use the MyBookie.ag, remember to use the promo code TMR. If you go to like our pages and hit the link, that direct link already has the promo code built into it. But if you go to MyBookie.ag, make sure you create your account, use the code TMR. That's the morning run. And man, look, because I'm telling you what's going to start happening, y'all. Go ahead, get your account. Get ready to fund your account because starting next week, October 1st is next Wednesday, when Duke start breaking down some of these odds and giving y'all some of these tips, man, don't leave that free money out there.
I know I'm going to be on it. I done signed up. I'm ready to go. I'm locked in. You feel me? I thought I wasn't going to be able to do it because a lot of other places, apps or betting apps, whatever you want to call them, they don't allow us to bet out here in Hawaii. This one right here, though, I'm on it like I own it.
Hey, Chico, Dukes, me and Dukes talk about spades all the time. I'm just a brother from West Jackson, man. Sometimes I just keep it simple. What I love about MyBookie.ag, when y'all go to that site, put that TMR in, they got squares.
You got it all, don't it?
Yeah, they got squares. You can play squares. Squares is where Chico is hood gambling at the barbershop where you put the two teams, you deal out cards, you put the numbers, you pick your squares, and then when the numbers are filled in, if the score matches your number, you get paid.
Oh, you could do like the hood gambling on the paper.
That's what I just said. Look,
yeah. Or the employee gambling. Yeah, that's what my employees used to do when I was the manager at the warehouse, like Duke said. They used to come in there gambling all that money. Chico, you want a number? I'm like, number? Finally started taking it, but
yeah, so MyBookie
took my money.
MyBookie.ag. Make sure you create that account. You use that code TMR. They got all the legs and the parlays you want. They got squares. They got ups, unders. Like it look. But yeah, get ready. Get ready for Deuce Scoop. He's gonna be coming with it.
Come on with it, Powder. Well, I'm gonna be right there.
Boy, you crazy.
All right, man. We're gonna get up and out of here, man. Y'all make sure y'all find us on social media. Follow all three of us as soon as you get a chance to. Uncle Neely, Big Dog Chico, Deuce the Scoop. Thank you guys for joining us. Appreciate Adam coming on each and every week. We'll be right here.
Yeah, tomorrow's the pregame show morning run. So we're gonna go through in-depth look in and do some of our personal predictions and outcomes for the score. Hey man, you tell them Carlton Miller. 500 people watch, hundreds new likes. Man, hit the like button, y'all get out of here, man. Hit the like button. Like button free, man.
I can't believe that, man. Y'all come up in here, don't even wash your feet on the rug. Close my goddamn door. Let all them flies in. Air conditioning the whole damn neighborhood.
They said Chico sound like Ike Turner. You heard it? You saw that? Say, hey, boy, he ain't like nobody messing with his Keisha. Nothing like Keisha. What you doing?
Keisha just said the man looked light skinned. Chico balled his fist up like, damn, Ike.
Yeah, that's
it. Boo describing him. She wasn't trying to holler at him.
No, that let you know. I'm glad, Keisha. I'm glad he showed how he really feel about you. He talk about you. He really do.
It's in me, not on me.
Nah. Ain't doing all that, boy.
Hey, as a 6-year-old kid, he watched his uncle beat up a dude who just came to see one of his aunts. So
yeah, we ain't play those games, dog. Come on, now. What's wrong with you? That's disrespectful.
Yeah, that's it.
So
that's disrespectful.
A man can't come over there like he just
hell no.
She got to go to him.
You better. Do something. Make sure I don't see it. You ain't finna do it in front of me. What? What we doing?
Yeah, so y'all back on. So Chico is up. You and Keisha back up.
Hey, you know, we keep things private around here. You know, it's just, you know.
Respect though.
Yeah.
All right, we at 200.
MyBookie.com. Go get you some.
MyBookie.ag.
MyBookie.ag. Get it right. MyBookie.ag. Get it right. Right now. Hit the link in the chat. It's in the chat right now. Just scroll up till you see the link. Hit that link. All right. We got.
If you hit the link,
Appreciate
the TMR
y'all.
code is already in. If you just go to the regular website, be sure and type in TMR when they ask you for your promo code, because they're gonna throw you 500 now.
Yeah.
Like we look, you think we just tell you to type in TMR because like we TMR? Like no, we're trying to put $500 in your hand.
Yes. Use it. All right. Duncan Shun, Peterson. We're gonna be up and about here. The morning run. TMR. You heard me? He's in the Middle East. You be shoot.